Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Change is difficult and changing overnight is near to impossible. There are going to be days when it feels easier to just give up or give in to the temptation of slipping up. We call them the donut days. While it would be amazing to just snap our fingers and become a brand new version of ourselves, it's important to realize that change takes time. That's why taking small steps towards our goals is important. The small steps make it easier. The small steps keep us going even when we are not motivated. The small steps keep us from giving in on our donut days. The most important is the small steps add up to our ultimate goal. It is called the path of least resistance. Habits are behaviors we have repeated so many times that they have become automatic. Habits are what we nerds call behavioral defaults, responses we make to situations without consciously thinking about them. Research shows that as we build a habit, we rely less and less on our prefrontal cortex or PFC, the part we use for decision making, and more on the basal ganglia, a part which is responsible for automatic actions like reflexes and habits. When we are trying to change our behavior, we consciously use the prefrontal cortex to drive our decisions. With enough repetition, we no longer have to make decisions, and the job moves to basal ganglia. And that's nerdy neurology behind how habits work. Hashtag the brain is cool. It takes us a lot more effort to use the PFC each time to take a decision. And this is why behavior change is often difficult. It's the reason why saying no to ice cream feels tough, especially when we are on a diet. Unless we have built the habit of saying no each time we make an active choice, our prefrontal cortex is called to action. And consciously choosing how to act every day can be exhausting. In fact, our brain is inherently wired to choose the easiest option because it appears to be the most efficient one. It tries and avoids active decision making and, like a lazy manager, simply delegates as much as possible to the basal ganglia, which is responsible for our habitual defaults. When we see multiple possible options in a particular situation, our natural tendency is to always choose the path of least resistance. To say this simply, to go with the flow and not stress our prefrontal cortex. While that's usually something that works against us, it's also the same that it's also the same power that allows good habits to flourish. If you are able to practice just enough for the behavior to become a behavioral default in a given situation, it can quickly become a habit. And strangely enough, this means that the same powerful force that makes us lazy can make us more disciplined. Research by psychologists Brian Gala and Angela Duckworth concluded that people with positive habits are often mislabeled as having high self control. So, people who seem to have tremendous willpower, who miraculously manage to run a marathon or study hard for the exams, do not necessarily have greater willpower, but have simply been deliberate at forming good habits and good behavior defaults. Let's build positive habits. Today, we have learned so much. We have learned that habits are behavioral defaults that we perform without consciously thinking about them. As we build a habit, we use PFC, that is prefrontal cortex, which is used in making conscious decisions, and more of basal ganglia, which is used for reflexive actions. Choosing the easiest path is natural, but we can use this to our advantage. By practicing our new habits often enough, we can make it a default behavior. There's a lot more where that came from. I'll see you again next week. So keep defaulting to awesomeness. Bye bye.